Jungle Book. Once upon a time, in the African forest, all the animals lived under the wise rules of the forest, near which a man's tribe also resided. One night, Shere Khan, the lame tiger of the forest, decided to hunt the villagers for food, attacking the village with a loud roar. Loud, the jackal who served as his sidekick, followed him closely. While attempting to catch a man, Shere Khan jumped directly onto the red flower, which is fire, and roared the loudest. Raksha, a mother wolf, was observing the entire scene from outside her cave with her cubs. She critically remarked about this coward tiger hunting the weakest ones, humans, noting his lameness and questioning how he could even hunt a deer. It seemed to her that he had gained nothing but a burnt leg from the encounter. After the roaring subsided and silence returned to the forest, the wolves were conversing when they noticed a small rustling of bushes. Father Wolf immediately took a defensive position, ready to spring. What he found was a man cub, a baby, who had escaped from the village and crawled all the way to the wolf's cave. Raksha, with a nurturing heart, declared her intention to keep him with her and raise him like her own cubs, naming him Mowgli. Father Wolf expressed doubt that the wolf pack would accept a man cub. Unbeknownst to them, Tabaki was hiding nearby and overheard the conversation, promptly informing Shere Khan about the man cub. Shere Khan wasted no time and immediately arrived at the cave, demanding the man cub, claiming him as his prey. Raksha fiercely retorted, telling him to go away, calling him a lame coward, and asserting that Mowgli was her child, daring him not to touch him. Injured from the fire, Shere Khan was forced to leave the place after witnessing the mother's intense rage, but he vowed that one day the child would be under his paws and teeth. The very next day, Mowgli was presented to the wolf pack. After a long debate, and with the essential consent of Bagheera, the pack accepted Mowgli into their fold. It was decided that Bagheera, the Black Panther, and Baloo, the bear, would teach him the rules of the forest. There was also an understanding that Mowgli must eventually return to his tribe when he grew up. Mowgli subsequently grew up in the forest, diligently learning the forest way of living. Baloo took on the role of his primary teacher, imparting all the jungle lore to him. He taught Mowgli how to speak animal languages and also instructed him in his favorite activities, getting the sweet honey and catching the fresh fish. Meanwhile, Bagheera focused on teaching Mowgli self-defense, given his own experience of being raised by a man himself. Bagheera consistently kept Mowgli connected to his humanity and regularly reminded him that one day he would have to return to his own kind. Soon, Mowgli developed a deep fondness for the forest. He was cherished by his brother wolf cubs and quickly became friends with all the other animals in the forest. As the years passed by, Akela, the respected leader of the wolf pack, found himself increasingly unable to hunt as effectively as before. Seeing this as an opportunity, Shere Khan decided to exploit Akela's weakness. He cunningly addressed the young wolves, declaring it was their time to lead the pack and urging them to remove Akela from his position. He further leveraged his influence by demanding Mowgli, threatening to constantly hunt in their territory and deprive them of even a single bone to eat if they refused. Swayed by Shere Khan's words, the young wolves told Akela to step down from his leadership. Akela, recognizing their cowardice in yielding to Shere Khan, responded that he would agree to step down as leader, but only if they allowed Mowgli to go free. Bagheera, hearing about this crucial meeting, approached Mowgli, explaining that it was time to show Shere Khan his rightful place and that it was time for a fight. Mowgli expressed his apprehension, questioning how he could fight Shere Khan alone, especially since the whole pack now seemed to be on Shere Khan's side. Bagheera then advised him to go to the man's village and obtain the red flower, explaining that the red flower would effectively scare away Shere Khan and his allies. Mowgli then concluded that it would be better for him to leave the forest and live with his own kind. He hugged Bagheera and Baloo, shedding tears for the very first time in his life. Soon after, Mowgli fell asleep on Baloo's stomach, and they all slept on a tree. However, a mischievous monkey troop spotted Mowgli and swiftly carried him away through the forest trees. These monkeys were known as the craziest animals in the forest, living without any laws or rules. When Baloo and Bagheera woke up, they mistakenly assumed that Mowgli must have already departed for the man's village. As Mowgli was being carried away, he spotted Chil the kite flying around. He quickly communicated in bird language, instructing Chil to inform Baloo and Bagheera about where the monkeys were taking him. The monkeys, however, told Mowgli to shut his mouth, revealing their true intentions. They wanted to learn all of Mowgli's tricks, so they could rule the forest by controlling all the animals. Chil, true to his word, informed Baloo and Bagheera about Mowgli's kidnapping. He told them that the monkeys had taken Mowgli to the Cold Lairs, an abandoned city within the forest. Realizing the cunning and dangerous nature of the monkeys, Baloo and Bagheera concluded that they could not fight them alone and that they absolutely must ask Kaa, the snake, for help. They successfully convinced Kaa to come and assist them in the rescue. Together, they all journeyed to the ruins of the Cold Lairs. Upon their arrival, the monkeys had hidden Mowgli securely under a giant dome. Bagheera was the first to enter the destructive scene, biting and throwing monkeys away, but he was quickly outnumbered by the sheer quantity of monkeys. He was advised to hide in the pond. Baloo then began throwing monkeys here and there, but he too soon found himself outnumbered, with all the monkeys sitting on his stomach and beating him. Just as things looked dire, Kaa made a grand appearance and let out a powerful hiss. All the monkeys were instantly terrified and scrambled up the nearest trees. Kaa then proceeded to break the dome where Mowgli was hidden and freed him. With Mowgli free, Kaa uttered, "Oh wow, what a delicious smee," indicating a desire to eat the child. Bagheera quickly interjected, telling Kaa to keep his eyes away from the child. Kaa, undeterred, uncoiled Mowgli, then began to dance in a way that hypnotized the monkeys. He then took them away with her. After this ordeal, Mowgli felt that the forest was no longer truly for him and that he should leave soon. He sadly bid farewell to Bagheera and Baloo and departed for the village. The villagers, upon seeing Mowgli, were initially afraid, suspecting him of being an impostor from the forest who might practice voodoo. However, one woman, implicitly Mesua, recognized his innocent appearance and welcomed him, calling him her child and offering him a place to stay. Soon, Mowgli became familiar with village life, learning their language. He was given the job of herding the cattle. His old friends, Bagheera and Baloo, would occasionally meet him on the mountains. One day, however, his gray wolf brother came to meet him, bearing grave news. The pack was in trouble because Shere Khan had decided to kill the wolves one by one. Mowgli initially responded with bitterness, reminding his brother that the pack had decided to feed him to Shere Khan, questioning why he should care for them now, and emphasizing that they were not of the same blood. His wolf brother appealed to him, reminding him that their mother had raised them like siblings and that they must seek revenge for their mother. Mowgli inquired about his mother, and his brother revealed that she had died fighting with Shere Khan, explaining that Shere Khan had come to the cave asking for Mowgli, but their mother had not uttered a single word to betray him. Hearing this, Mowgli's resolve solidified, declaring, "Enough now. I will not spare Shere Khan." Mowgli then took his cattle into a canyon where Shere Khan was hiding. He rode on one of the buffaloes. As they reached the canyon, they were joined by Akela, the true leader of the pack. Akela instructed Mowgli to take some cattle in opposite directions, while he would bring them running from the other side, ensuring Shere Khan would be trapped. As planned, they left the cattle running towards Shere Khan. The entire canyon began to tremble violently with the thunderous sound of their stamping feet. Shere Khan heard the approaching sound of hooves and frantically looked from side to side for any way of escape, but the canyon walls were straight and offered no exit. The cattle, running with full fury, tripped and stumbled, and then went over Shere Khan. The mighty bull crushed Shere Khan in the mud, and the buffaloes ran over him. There was no need for further action. It was over. It was the end of Shere Khan, the long-standing enemy of both the village and the forest. Mowgli then triumphantly took off Shere Khan's skin and carried it to the Wolf Hill. Seeing Shere Khan's skin on Mowgli's shoulders, all the wolves howled loudly in triumph. Akela was honored with his leadership restored. Mowgli then left the forest permanently, having found out that Messua was his real mother. The forest and the village, now free from the threat of Shere Khan, lived happily ever after. The story of Mowgli, as narrated, offers a profound exploration of themes centered around identity, belonging, the nature of law, and the struggle for justice. From the very beginning, Mowgli's unique position as a man-cub raised by wolves immediately establishes a core conflict of identity. He is not entirely animal, nor is he initially entirely human in his upbringing. His education by Baloo in jungle lore and animal languages, contrasted with Bagheera's constant reminder of his human origins and the eventual necessity of returning to his own kind, highlights this duality. Mowgli's deep affection for the forest and his animal family, symbolized by his bond with his wolf cubs and his friendship with other creatures, underscores the powerful theme of belonging that transcends species. His tears upon leaving Bagheera and Baloo for the first time reveal the genuine emotional connection he developed within this unconventional family. The narrative also starkly contrasts the wise rules of the forest that the animals generally live under with the lawless and crazy nature of the monkeys, illustrating different forms of societal structure and the chaos that can ensue without order. Shere Khan embodies a chaotic, self-serving force that constantly disrupts the established peace and order of the forest, representing the embodiment of malicious intent and unchecked power. His lameness is not just a physical attribute, but perhaps also symbolizes a deeper internal flaw or a diminished capacity to adhere to natural laws. forcing him to prey on the weakest and exploit vulnerabilities. The betrayal of the young wolves, swayed by Shere Khan's promises and threats, is a critical turning point that exposes the fragility of loyalty and the corrupting influence of ambition, forcing Mowgli to confront the reality that even within his adopted family, not everyone holds his best interests at heart. This event propels Mowgli towards his human destiny and the Red Flower, symbolizing human technology and intelligence as a means of defense and power, a tool that transcends the raw strength of the jungle. His journey to the village and subsequent integration, learning human language and customs, further emphasizes his evolving identity and the broadening of his world. The climax, where Mowgli orchestrates Shere Khan's demise using his human intellect and knowledge of the animal world, riding a buffalo and strategically trapping the tiger, represents the ultimate triumph of a nuanced blend of both worlds. It showcases how Mowgli, by embracing both his human ingenuity and his profound understanding of the jungle's rhythms and inhabitants, becomes a unique force capable of restoring balance and justice. His final departure from the forest, carrying Shere Khan's skin as a symbol of victory and moving towards his real mother, signifies a complete circle of growth and the ultimate resolution of his identity, allowing both the forest and the village to find peace after the long-standing conflict. The story thus ultimately celebrates not just survival but the synthesis of different ways of being, and the inherent strength found in embracing one's complete self.